Chapter 1. The Unfamiliar Reflection. Evelyn Hart's day began like any other at the Whispers of the Past antique shop in the heart of Denver. The morning sun filtered through the dusty windows, casting a warm glow on the vintage treasures that filled the room. Evelyn, with her keen eye for history, admired a recently acquired Victorian-era locket, her fingers tracing the intricate designs. As she prepared for another quiet day surrounded by relics of the past, her phone buzzed with a notification. Probably another promotional email, she thought, sliding the device out of her apron pocket. But what she saw on the screen stopped her cold. It was a video shared on a popular social media platform, with her face unmistakably in the frame. Confusion knit her brow as she watched herself, or someone who looked alarmingly like her, laughing boisterously in a crowded nightclub, a place she couldn't recall ever visiting. The timestamp showed it was taken just last night. Evelyn's heart raced. This had to be a mistake. She was at home last night, curled up with a book and a cup of chamomile tea, the way she spent most of her evenings. But the woman in the video, with her same chestnut hair and green eyes, told a different story. The chime of the shop's front door pulled her from her thoughts. She quickly locked the phone and slid it back into her pocket. But the image of the video lingered in her mind, an unwelcome ghost haunting her thoughts. As the day progressed, the usual tranquility of the antique shop was overshadowed by Evelyn's growing unease. She found herself repeatedly drawn to her phone, watching the video over and over, dissecting every frame for an explanation. The comments were a mix of admiration and ridicule, but all of them felt like personal attacks, mocking her for a night she didn't remember. When her colleague Michael commented on her distracted demeanor, she brushed it off with a forced smile. "Just didn't sleep well last night," she lied, feeling a chasm widening inside her, separating the Evelyn everyone saw from the Evelyn she thought she knew. As evening approached, Evelyn decided to walk through the nearby park, hoping the fresh air would clear her head. But the tranquility of the evening was shattered when a stranger approached, recognition flashing in their eyes. "Hey, aren't you the girl from that video? The party animal?" they asked with a smirk. Evelyn's heart sank. This was just the beginning, she realized. Her private life and her perception of herself were unraveling, and she knew she had to find out how and why, but where to start? Chapter 2. Digital Echoes. Under the canopy of old oaks in the park, Evelyn's mind raced. The casual comment from the stranger had struck a nerve. She needed answers, and she needed them fast. Returning to her small, book-lined apartment, Evelyn sat down at her computer. Her first instinct was to trace the origin of the video. She delved into the social media platform, trying to find any clue about who posted it and why. The account was new, with no personal information, but it had already amassed a following thanks to the viral video. The night deepened around her as she scoured the internet for any digital footprint that could lead her to the truth. Hours passed, with each click leading to another dead end. Frustration mounted, but Evelyn was not one to give up easily. A knock at her door jolted her from her concentration. It was late. Who could it be? Cautiously, she approached the door and peered through the peephole. Standing outside was her old friend and former classmate, Alex, a software engineer with a penchant for solving puzzles. "Evelyn, I saw the video," Alex said as soon as she opened the door. "And I know you. That's not you. What's going on?" She hesitated, then let Alex in, sharing her confusion and fear. Alex listened intently, his analytical mind already turning over the possibilities. "This could be a deepfake," Alex suggested, referring to the hyper-realistic digital manipulation of video. "They're getting scarily good. But why target you?" Together, they reviewed the video again, Alex pointing out subtle inconsistencies that Evelyn hadn't noticed. The way the light fell, the slight mismatch in the voice. It was her, but it wasn't. "Let's dig deeper," Alex proposed. "We can analyze the video frame by frame, check for digital signatures, anything that might give us a lead." Evelyn felt a glimmer of hope. With Alex's technical expertise, maybe they could unravel this mystery. But a nagging thought remained in the back of her mind. Why her? She was just a cashier at an antique shop, far removed from the world of viral fame and digital manipulation. As they worked into the early hours of the morning, a plan began to form. They would start by dissecting the video, then investigate the nightclub where it was supposedly filmed. Maybe someone there saw something, or maybe they could find evidence that she was never there. But as the city outside her window slowly woke up, Evelyn realized that this mystery was about more than just a viral video. It was about her identity, her perception of herself, and the unnerving ease with which both could be manipulated in the digital age. Chapter 3. Shadows of Doubt. The morning light brought a new determination to Evelyn. She and Alex had a plan, and it was time to set it in motion. First stop, the nightclub from the video. They arrived at the club in the late afternoon. The place, known for its vibrant nightlife, stood quiet in the daylight. As they entered, the remnants of the previous night's revelry met them. The faint smell of alcohol, the sticky floors. Evelyn's heart pounded. She had never been here, yet everything felt eerily familiar, like a déjà vu induced by the viral video. Alex talked to the staff, showing them the video and asking questions. Most were dismissive, but one bartender paused, looking closely at Evelyn. "Yeah, I remember her," he said, pointing to Evelyn in the video. "Came in here acting all crazy, hard to forget." Evelyn's stomach churned. It was a lie, it had to be. But why would he lie? Alex's gaze met hers, a silent communication of disbelief and concern. They left the club with more questions than answers. The encounter with the bartender had shaken Evelyn. The line between her reality and the video's narrative was blurring, and doubt crept in. What if she had been there and somehow forgotten? Back at her apartment, Evelyn sat in silence, lost in thought. Alex worked on his laptop, running analyses on the video. "Evelyn," Alex said suddenly, breaking the silence, "I found something. Look at this." He showed her a frame from the video, enhanced to reveal a reflection in a mirror. A man with a camera filming her look-alike. It was a clue, a small but significant anomaly. "This isn't just a deepfake. Someone staged this," Alex concluded. Evelyn felt a mix of fear and vindication. Someone was orchestrating this, but who? And why? The discovery propelled them into a deeper investigation. They started digging into the backgrounds of the club staff, the patrons that night, anyone who could be connected to the video. As the day turned into night, Evelyn's resolve hardened. This was no longer just about clearing her name. It was about reclaiming her identity. She wouldn't let someone else's narrative define her. But as they delved deeper into the rabbit hole, the danger became more apparent. Unseen eyes seemed to follow them, and anonymous threats began to appear in Evelyn's inbox. Someone wanted to keep the truth buried, and Evelyn was getting too close. The mystery was no longer just a digital puzzle. It had stepped into her reality, bringing a threat she hadn't anticipated. Chapter 4. Echoes of the Past. With each passing day, the line between Evelyn's quiet life and the chaotic world of the viral video blurred. The threats lurking in her inbox grew more ominous, casting a shadow over her every move. Alex's discovery of the man with the camera was a breakthrough, but it also raised new questions. Who was he, and why was he filming her look-alike? The answers, Evelyn felt, lay somewhere in her past. One evening, as she sifted through old photos and memorabilia, seeking any clue that might connect her to the video, a faded photograph caught her eye. It was a picture of her college theater group, a forgotten hobby from a lifetime ago. Studying the faces, one in particular made her pause. A young man, always on the fringe of the group, camera in hand. His name surfaced from the depths of her memory. Daniel. Quiet, unassuming Daniel, who had a talent for videography. Could he be the link? The thought was both absurd and terrifying, but with no other leads, Evelyn knew she had to find out. The next day, with Alex's help, she tracked down Daniel. He had moved out of state, but they managed to get a number. The phone call was brief and unsettling. Daniel's voice, once shy and soft-spoken, was now cold, dismissive. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said before abruptly hanging up. Evelyn's heart raced. Daniel's reaction was suspicious, and it only fueled her determination. She decided they needed to confront him in person. It was a risk, but one she felt compelled to take. As they prepared for the journey, the stakes became clear. This was more than just solving a mystery. It was a confrontation with a part of her past that she had long forgotten. What secrets did Daniel hold, and how did they connect to the person she had become? The trip was a blur of highways and rest stops, each mile bringing her closer to a confrontation that she both dreaded and longed for. Alex, ever the rational thinker, voiced his concerns. "Evelyn, we need to be careful. We don't know what we're walking into. This could be bigger than we thought." Evelyn nodded, her resolve firm. "I know. But I can't let this go. This isn't just about me anymore. It's about the truth." Arriving in the small town where Daniel now lived, they found his address. A nondescript house in a quiet neighborhood. The normalcy of it all seemed at odds with the turmoil inside Evelyn. As she knocked on the door, her heart pounded in her chest. The door creaked open, and there stood Daniel, his expression a mix of surprise and wariness. "Evelyn, what are you doing here?" "We need to talk, Daniel, about the video." His eyes flickered with an emotion she couldn't place, and he reluctantly let them in. As they sat in his modest living room, the conversation began. A conversation that would unearth secrets and lies, shaking the very foundation of Evelyn's perception of herself. Chapter 5. Unveiling Shadows. The tension in Daniel's living room was palpable as Evelyn and Alex sat across from him. Daniel looked older, wearier, but there was still a flicker of the person Evelyn remembered. "Evelyn, this is unexpected. What video are you talking about?" Daniel's voice wavered slightly. "The one that's all over the internet. The one with me in it, or someone who looks a lot like me," Evelyn replied, her tone steady but her hands betraying her nerves. Daniel's eyes darted away, then back, a conflict playing out behind them. "I don't know what you're talking about. I left all that behind me." "Evelyn, show him," Alex interjected, handing her the phone with the video paused on the frame showing the man with the camera. Evelyn held the phone out to Daniel. His reaction was immediate. His face drained of color as he looked at the image. "Where did you get this?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "We've been investigating. That's you in the reflection, isn't it, Daniel?" Evelyn's question was more of an accusation. Daniel slumped back, covering his face with his hands. "Yes, it's me. But it's not what you think." "What is it then? Why did you do this?" Evelyn's voice rose, a mix of anger and desperation. Daniel looked up, his eyes meeting hers. "It was a job, Evelyn, just a job. They paid me to make the video, to make it look like you. I didn't know what they were planning to use it for." "Who's they?" Alex asked, leaning forward. Daniel shook his head. "I don't know. It was all anonymous. Online transactions, no names. I didn't ask questions." Evelyn felt a chill run down her spine. "You helped someone steal my identity, Daniel. Do you have any idea what that's done to my life?" "I'm sorry, Evelyn. I really am. It was just another gig. I didn't think it would go this far." Alex intervened. "Do you have any information on who hired you? Any leads we can follow?" Daniel hesitated, then went to his desk, rummaging through papers. Finally, he handed them a USB drive. "This is everything I have. The original footage, the payment details, the communication. It's all there." Evelyn took the USB drive, a mix of gratitude and betrayal in her eyes. "Thank you, Daniel. This might help clear my name." As they left Daniel's house, the evening air felt heavier. They had a new lead, but the mystery only deepened. Who was behind the video, and why target Evelyn? The answers, she hoped, were on the USB drive. Chapter 6. The Digital Labyrinth. Back at Evelyn's apartment, the air was thick with anticipation as Alex plugged the USB drive into his laptop. Evelyn watched over his shoulder, her heart racing. The drive contained folders labeled with dates and cryptic file names. Alex opened the first folder, revealing raw video footage. It was indeed a lookalike of Evelyn, expertly staged to mimic her mannerisms. "Look at this," Alex said, pausing on a frame. "The attention to detail is incredible. They studied you thoroughly, Evelyn." Evelyn felt a shiver down her spine. "But why? Why me?" They delved deeper, uncovering emails and transaction records. The trail led to a series of anonymous accounts and dead ends. It was professional, meticulous. But then Alex stumbled upon a breakthrough. Wait, look at this transaction. The payment to Daniel came through a cryptocurrency exchange, but there's a note attached, a username. Evelyn leaned in closer. Can you trace it? It won't be easy, but I can try. Hours turned into a digital chase, Alex's skills pitted against the layers of obfuscation. Eventually, his persistence paid off. Got something! He exclaimed. The username led to an online forum, a gathering place for digital artists and videographers. And there, amidst the threads, was a post by the same user, asking for advice on mimicking a person's behavior. Evelyn read the post, a growing sense of unease building within her. This is about me. They were crowdsourcing information on how to imitate me. But why? Alex pondered. What's the end game? They decided their next step was to infiltrate the forum, posing as users interested in deepfake technology. It was risky, but it was their best chance to find the puppeteer behind the curtain. As Evelyn created an account, a new message popped up in her inbox. It was from the mysterious user. Her heart skipped a beat as she clicked it open. "We know you're looking for us," the message read. "Stop now or the consequences will be dire." The threat was clear, but it only strengthened Evelyn's resolve. Someone was watching her every move, but she wouldn't be intimidated. She had to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Alex looked at her, concern etched on his face. "Evelyn, we should be careful. This is getting dangerous." Evelyn nodded, determination in her eyes. "I know, but I can't stop now. This is about more than just a video. It's about my life, my identity. I need to know who's behind this and why." Together they delved into the forum, unaware of the web of deception and danger they were about to unravel. Chapter 7. Unmasking the Puppeteer. Infiltrating the online forum was like stepping into a shadowy world where reality could be bent and reshaped at will. Evelyn and Alex, under their pseudonyms, began interacting with the community, subtly probing for information about the mysterious user. Their efforts soon paid off. A forum member, intrigued by their questions, reached out privately. "I've seen what you're asking about," the member wrote. "Meet me at the cafe on 5th and Lincoln tomorrow, noon." Evelyn felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. Was this a breakthrough or a trap? The next day, with cautious steps, Evelyn and Alex arrived at the cafe. A man in a hoodie, his face obscured, waved them over to a secluded corner. "You're looking for the user who asked about mimicking someone, right?" he began, his voice low. "That project was big. A lot of us contributed, thinking it was just another challenge." Evelyn leaned in. "Do you know who was behind it?" The man shook his head. "No names. Everything was anonymous. But I heard rumors. It was more than just a project. It was personal for whoever started it." "Personal? How?" Alex asked. The man glanced around nervously. "Revenge, maybe. Or obsession. I don't know. But they were willing to pay a lot for it. Too much. It scared some of us off." After the meeting, Evelyn felt a whirlwind of emotions. Someone out there had orchestrated this elaborate scheme for a personal vendetta against her. But why? What had she done to deserve this? The answer, she realized, might lie in her past. She began revisiting old memories, connections, and relationships, searching for a clue, a forgotten grudge, anything that might point to the puppeteer. Meanwhile, Alex continued to probe the digital trail, but the more they uncovered, the more convoluted the web became. It was clear that whoever was behind this had gone to great lengths to cover their tracks. Then, a breakthrough came in an unexpected form. Evelyn received a package at her doorstep. Inside was a hard drive and a note. "Stop digging and you'll stop hurting. The truth isn't always freeing." The hard drive contained more videos, each more disturbing than the last, showing the doppelganger engaging in activities that smeared Evelyn's reputation. But one video stood out. It showed the lookalike at a familiar location, her childhood home. The message was clear. Whoever was doing this knew her intimately, knew her history. This was no random attack. It was deeply personal. Evelyn felt a chill run down her spine. The mystery had just taken a darker turn, leading her down a path that intertwined with her own past. The puppeteer was someone from her life, someone who knew her well enough to strike where it hurt most. As fear and determination wrestled within her, Evelyn knew there was no turning back. The next step she took would not only unravel the mystery, but also reveal parts of her past she had long kept hidden. Chapter 8. Reflections of the Past. Evelyn sat in her living room, the hard drive's contents spilled out across her laptop screen. The image of her childhood home sparked a cascade of memories, each a potential clue to the identity of her tormentor. "Someone from my past is doing this," Evelyn murmured to Alex, who sat beside her, deep in thought. "Let's go through it again," Alex suggested. "Think about anyone who might have a reason to do this. Old friends, exes, rivals." Evelyn's mind raced through her life's tapestry, each person a thread that could unravel the mystery. There was her high school sweetheart, now a distant memory, her college roommate with whom she'd had a falling out, colleagues from her early working days. Then a name surfaced, one she hadn't thought of in years: Jenna. Jenna, her best friend in high school, until a bitter argument tore them apart. Jenna, who had always been competitive, always wanting to be one step ahead. "Jenna," Evelyn said, the name tasting like a long-forgotten story. "Could it be her?" "Why Jenna?" Alex asked, his brow furrowed. "We were close once, but things ended badly between us. I haven't spoken to her in over a decade," Evelyn explained, her voice tinged with regret. Alex nodded, understanding. "It's a start. Let's see what we can find out about her current whereabouts." Their search led them down a trail of social media profiles, public records, and online footprints. Jenna had moved on, it seemed, leading a successful career, miles away from Evelyn's quiet life. But the more they dug, the more inconsistencies they found. Jenna's digital presence was carefully curated, yet there were gaps, periods where she seemed to vanish from the online world. "It's like she's hiding something," Alex said, his eyes never leaving the screen. Evelyn felt a growing sense of unease. The pieces were fitting together too neatly. Jenna's competitive nature, the falling out, her intermittent digital footprint. They decided to reach out to Jenna under the guise of a high school reunion. It was a long shot, but it was their only shot. The response came quicker than expected. Jenna was delighted at the prospect of reconnecting, her message warm and nostalgic. She suggested they meet in person back in their hometown. As Evelyn read Jenna's message, a cold realization dawned on her. Jenna's eagerness, the timing, it all felt orchestrated, as if she was waiting for this moment. "I think we're walking into a trap," Evelyn said, her voice steady despite the fear that gripped her. "Then we'll be prepared," Alex replied, his determination matching hers. They set out for their hometown, the place where it all began. Evelyn knew that confronting Jenna might uncover painful truths, but it was a journey she had to take. The mystery that had started with a digital doppelganger was leading her back to where her story began, to face a past that refused to stay buried. As they drove into the familiar streets of her childhood, Evelyn felt a sense of destiny. The answers she sought were here, hidden in the shadows of her past, and she was ready to bring them into the light. Chapter 9. Confronting Ghosts. Evelyn and Alex arrived in their hometown as the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The town was a tapestry of nostalgia for Evelyn, each street corner a memory, each familiar building a reminder of a simpler time. They drove to the agreed meeting spot, a quaint cafe that had been a favorite hangout during their high school years. As they walked in, Evelyn's heart pounded in her chest. This was it, the moment of truth. Jenna was already there, sitting at a corner table, her appearance hardly changed from Evelyn's memories. She rose, a smile on her face, arms open for a hug. "Evelyn, it's been so long," Jenna exclaimed, the warmth in her voice belying the years of silence between them. Evelyn returned the embrace, but her eyes searched Jenna's, looking for a hint, a sign of the truth she sought. As they sat down, the conversation began with small talk, reminiscences of their teenage years. But beneath the pleasantries, tension simmered. Evelyn knew she had to steer the conversation towards the truth. "So, Jenna, what have you been up to all these years?" Evelyn asked, her voice casual but her mind alert. Jenna's story unfolded, a tale of success and travel, but Evelyn sensed evasion in her words. When Jenna mentioned her work in digital marketing, Evelyn saw an opening. "Digital marketing, huh? That must involve a lot of online work. Videos, maybe? Evelyn probed, watching Jenna's reaction closely. Jenna's smile faltered for a moment, then returned. Oh, yes, lots of videos. It's a challenging field. Evelyn took a deep breath, then decided to plunge in. Funny thing, I've been having some trouble with videos myself lately. Someone's been using them to create a different narrative about me. Jenna's expression changed, a flicker of something unreadable crossing her face. That sounds difficult. Evelyn leaned forward, her voice firm. It is, especially when it seems like someone from my past might be involved, someone who knows me well enough to make it hurt. The air between them grew heavy. Jenna's eyes darted away, then back, a storm brewing in their depths. Evelyn, I don't know what you're... Please, Jenna, Evelyn interrupted, her voice a mix of anger and plea. I just want the truth. Why are you doing this? Jenna's facade crumbled, her shoulders slumping. I was angry, Evelyn. You moved on, left this town, left me. I was stuck here in your shadow. I wanted to make you feel what I felt. Tears welled in Jenna's eyes, her confession hanging in the air. Evelyn felt a wave of emotions, betrayal, sorrow, understanding. She had her answers, but they brought little comfort. Alex, who had been quietly observing, spoke up. What's done is done, Jenna, but it's time to set things right. Evelyn deserves that much. Jenna nodded, wiping away her tears. I'll do whatever I can to make amends. I never meant for it to go this far. As they left the cafe, Evelyn felt a weight lifting from her shoulders. The mystery was solved, but the journey was far from over. There were still pieces to pick up, a reputation to rebuild, and perhaps a friendship to mend. But for now, Evelyn had reclaimed her story, her identity. The digital shadows that had haunted her were dissipating, giving way to a new beginning, a new chapter in her life. Chapter 10. A New Dawn. In the days following the confrontation with Jenna, Evelyn felt as if she was waking from a long, troubled dream. The truth about the videos had been painful, but it had also set her free. With Jenna's cooperation, they managed to take down the misleading videos and began the process of clearing Evelyn's name. It was a slow, arduous journey, but with each step, Evelyn felt a sense of empowerment returning to her. Alex remained by her side, a steadfast presence in the whirlwind of legal procedures and media clarifications. Together, they worked tirelessly, turning the tide of public opinion and reclaiming Evelyn's digital identity. In the quiet moments, Evelyn found herself reflecting on her past with Jenna. The hurt was still there, but so was a glimmer of understanding. Jenna had been lost, lashing out in her pain. It didn't excuse her actions, but it did offer a path to forgiveness. One afternoon, Evelyn invited Jenna to meet her at the park, a place full of childhood memories. They sat on a bench, the autumn leaves painting the ground in hues of gold and red. I've been doing a lot of thinking, Evelyn began, her voice gentle, about us, about everything that happened. Jenna looked at her, remorse etched on her face. I'm so sorry, Evelyn. I never meant to hurt you like this. I know, Evelyn replied, and I forgive you, Jenna, not because it's easy, but because we both deserve to move on. The words hung between them, a bridge over years of estrangement. Thank you, Jenna whispered, tears in her eyes. As they talked, old wounds began to heal, replaced by a cautious hope. They couldn't undo the past, but they could build a new future, one where the pain was a memory, not a chain. In the weeks that followed, Evelyn's life slowly returned to normal. She went back to her job at the antique shop, where the familiar scents and textures grounded her in the present. But something had changed within her. The experience had given her a new perspective on life, on the fragile nature of identity and the strength that comes from facing one's demons. One evening, as she closed the shop, Evelyn made a decision. She would start writing. Her story, her journey through the maze of digital identity theft, could help others. She could turn her pain into purpose. As she locked the door and walked down the quiet street, Evelyn felt a sense of peace. The mystery that had upended her life was now a part of her story, a chapter that had ended, allowing a new one to begin. Above her, the stars twinkled in the vast Colorado sky, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. Evelyn Hart, once a victim of a digital shadow, was now the author of her own story, ready to face whatever the future held.